you had an excellent first weekend of May. I know the Cardinals did. I mean, about as much as you could hope for out of a series against the defending World Series champions, Brenden. I'm sure it was fun to take in.
It was fun to take in, and it was fun to see the Cardinals continue their winning ways. Obviously didn't win yesterday, but didn't even really play badly. I think that's been a theme in a lot of the recent games that they haven't won. You come away from those games going, they gave it a shot. So the style of play continued for another weekend, no doubt.
It is making a lot of people wonder, were we wrong about them? Were we wrong about the Cardinals having no chance this year? Were we wrong about the Cardinals being essentially a team that was just happy to see some young guys develop, see how it was going to go, but not necessarily concerned with winning right away? Do we need to change that? Do we need to change those expectations because we were wrong about them before? We're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss the Royals. Are they back? If they're not back yet, how much further do they need to show us to be back after they swept the Mariners on the road this weekend? Lots to react to when it comes to how they're playing at the moment. 5:05, we'll discuss that. And crucial game coming up tomorrow for Mizzou softball. Pretty incredible that they're in this spot. We'll talk about what it means coming up here at 4:25. You can call or text us here at 875-KTGR, but let's get to this first.
Now, the Big Show's Big Deal.
It's a team right now that's competing with, look, some of the best in baseball. You definitely can't dispute that with how the Cardinals looked against the Dodgers this weekend. Got some good pitching performances on Friday and Saturday to really stabilize themselves in the series. Ran into some trouble with Robleski yesterday for the Dodgers, but all in all, if you had been told that the Cardinals were going to take 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers at Busch Stadium this weekend and have 6 wins out of their last 7 at this point in the season, I mean 20-14 overall, I bet all of you would sign up for it. All of you would push the button. So now, is that just a mirage? Is that just anybody can be good for a month and we'll see what you actually do in the dog days of summer? Or is it time for us to reframe what this Cardinals team is? That's the Big Show's Big Deal on this 4th day of May. May the 4th be with you, 2026. Call or text us, 573-875-KTGR. That's what we all want to know, is that this Cardinals team that is competitive right now will be competitive down the line for more of the season than just 1/6. They've shown at least how they play at their peak that they can do that. But how long is the peak? How far away from their peak can they continue to play to keep this up, Brenden? That's what everyone wants to know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the framing of the question, were we wrong, depends on where you started. I started believing this Cardinals team would be scratching toward 500 and about 10 or 11 games better than what the win projection would have been. So I'm not like stunned that they're playing well, but are they playing at an unsustainable level, even beyond what a 80 win team, 79 win team would look like? That's kind of what I thought they were going to be. But you start to dig in a little bit, and I guess the way to determine, hey, the 6 games above 500 that they are right now, tied for second in the Central, a Central, by the way, that has all 5 teams with a better than 500 record. So it's not like the Cardinals are in a bad division right now, just taking advantage of that. No, they've hardly played any divisional games. They played their first divisional series last week and swept Pittsburgh, and now they've got their first home divisional series beginning tonight against Milwaukee. Who on this roster, with the numbers that they have put together, is doing something that you don't see continuing even anywhere close to what it is? Like, that to me is the way to frame it when it comes to the offense, when it comes to the starting pitching, when it comes to the bullpen. I think the other stuff, the base running, the style of play that they have defensively, which shows up regularly for this team. There's a number of really good plays made over the weekend in the series win against the Dodgers. Like, I think that stuff's just going to be who they are, and it's something they put a lot of attention to detail on. But the other 3 phases, the bats, the starting pitching, the relief pitching, is there something that stands out here that we think, whoa, it's nice that this has happened so far, but it's not going to end up being anything close to this? Do you have an area of the roster where you would look at that, Andy, and say, yep, this is going to be their undoing. It hasn't happened yet, but it's coming.
Well, you can always say that the bullpen can be the most fickle part about it. But if the bullpen is different than it was right now, then I would think the bullpen got better, right? Like if anything, that could probably improve down the stretch, or if you're able to add pieces and here and there of like, by add pieces, I mean, don't make huge trades, just like, find bargains that maybe you get a chance to take advantage of down the line.
Keep shaking it up if something doesn't work.
Yeah,
that's
exactly. Fair. Just staying ahead of any other potential moves that might happen that are under the radar. But if that improves, then you really start to see something better here. Starting pitching is about where I expected. Like, you've got at least 2 starters that you feel pretty good about rolling out there pretty much every time. A couple guys that maybe, at least Leahy is a big one that you're waiting to see get up to speed in that department. And then you kind of are expecting what you are getting at the moment out of Palante and even at times Liberatore. With Liberatore maybe having a bit more upside down the line if you're able to get that from him. But it's the offense that's the game changer, Brenden. So like it really comes down to like, are they going to keep hitting the way that they have? And that will determine how sustainable this is.
So let's take a look at some of this. Palante is interesting. Like, I think he has really come out and made strides to be better than what he was last year, but the numbers are better. He's like a 3.7 ERA. I would probably take the over on that. So I would say that that's one guy where I would say, even if he's still performing well, if he's a 4.2, like, it's not the end of the world. But maybe for him, he's been a little bit above his head, but you like what you're seeing out of him. So hopefully it continues. Liberatore, 4.5 ERA. Like, I don't know that he's going to be a lot worse than that. Dustin May, 5.16. Now, May was horrifying and then has been pretty good for the last 5 starts. So that 5.16 does not show. He's a 2.45 over the past 5 starts that he's made. So that, is he going to be a 5.16? No, I would probably say he'll even go down a little bit from there. Leahy's been a 5.5. And he's who starts tonight for the Cardinals. It doesn't really feel like he's been terrible because he hasn't had any games that he hasn't at least given you a chance. Like that version of a number 5 starter where he goes 5 innings, gives up 4 runs. He's done that twice. That's a killer for your ERA because that's like an 8 or a 7.5 or whatever it is when you go 5 and give up 4. But that's like within that game, you're probably losing 4-2 and you're in the mix. So like he hasn't had a single start despite a bad ERA that is taking you out of those types of games. McGreevy's like a 2.5 ERA. That's going to come up. So like I wanted to throw that in about the rotation. I feel like the rotation has equal parts guys where you're going, probably pitching a little above their heads, and equal parts, honestly, that's probably going to improve. So I don't think it's crazy to say the starting pitching is going to be about what it's been, which is like middle of the pack. It's a 4.27 ERA on the season. That's 17th in baseball. I don't think, barring injury, which always can happen, because I don't know how much they really have behind what they've got right now in St. Louis. Hunter Dobbins, we saw for a game in Pittsburgh and then went back down. So he's kind of the next man up. But like that, their starting pitching is okay. And certainly probably about as good as you could have hoped for a group that doesn't miss a ton of bats. Your point, the bullpen, 4.92 bullpen ERA. That's 26 in baseball. It can't get a whole lot worse than that. I guess it can from like the standpoint of Romero, O'Brien. Like if those guys fall off, then you're really hurting because that's
or if they get hurt or anything
exactly.
available. Yeah.
But like, do I think the Cardinals are going to be a better or worse bullpen than they've been? Like overall, 4.92? No, I would say it's not going to get worse than that. So you're right. Let's dig in on the offense. And this is an area where, as a team, some things are happening that we didn't see coming. Tied for 4th in Major League Baseball in home runs as of this moment. Tied, they're 9th in OPS. Like they're a team that gets on base decently well, we feel, but that's only 14th in Major League Baseball. It's actually their slugging that's been better than their OBP relative to the rest of the league. They're 9th in slugging. Total runs scored. I want to pull that one up. They're 9th. So they have been a plus offense. Let's start here. Who's the guy that's not going to sustain what he's done so far? Who's the guy where you're like, he is going to drop off significantly compared to what he's been?
Paez. Pedro Paez.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. And like his is even kind of like some small sample size theater because he has, what's his OPS right now? Like in the 700s.
Yeah.
Yeah. 702. But like he'll probably be like 640, 630.
Yeah.
He's been hot for like a couple few weeks. And then the beginning numbers are kind of erased by like 2 or 3 big games. I kind of made that assertion to Ollie Marmol, and he's like, I mean, I think he's been taking good at bats the whole way through. But you're right. Like, I think, is he going to finish 700 OPS? Probably not. But
Yeah.
Paez is your every other day catcher.
Right.
Otherwise, he's not playing. So, like, if that's the, and by the way, they really do. They love what he does behind the plate. I think he doesn't get enough credit for the way he works with the pitching staff and gets the best out of them. They're not worried about that. So give me another name. I don't disagree with you, but I don't think that's a name that abjectly changes things. No, I don't think it does.
Well, what definitely would abjectly change it would be Jordan Walker.
That would be the guy.
Right now at 964. Will he be if he is a 964 at the end of the season, he is at least top 3 in MVP voting, or maybe even he wins it. I don't know.
If he's a 964 and doesn't get hurt, the Cardinals, they're going to make the playoffs. Like I don't know if it's any more,
at least, yeah.
I don't know if it's any more complicated than that. Like because I think I'm equal parts. Jordan Walker is going to fall off compared to what he is right now, from a numbers perspective, and I don't think he's going to turn into a ghost. Like I think you're gonna, if you got 775 OPS the rest of the season, so that his final number would be 810, you'd be like, great. I don't know. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's down from, it's 150 points lower than what he is right now at 964. But, there was a moment where he was over 1,100 and we were singing his praises about all the power that he was producing. And then a couple of weeks go by and he kind of hit a skid. But the fact that it didn't last any longer than that, and now we've seen him, I'm just pulling up the last 6 games or so. He's 1,200 OPS over his last 6 games. So, like, he had gotten all the way down to 906, and then he's buoyed it back up 60 points in a week to 964. My point isn't to say that, like, he's found the water has found its level and this is what he's going to be. My point is more, Jordan Walker is showing a capability to go through a little rough patch and then come out on the other side of it with the same level of power, production, profile, all of that. What if his level is better than 810 or 850 or closer to 900? I would say right now, throw a number, OPS, season-ending OPS for a healthy Jordan Walker. If you are trying to stump me,
okay,
all right, so put your bookmaker's hat on.
Sure,
where would you put the line over under? You're going to set the line. I'm going to try to answer it.
All right. 830.
Yeah, that's not a bad line. That's not a bad line, and I don't. But the point is, like, well, if that's a good line, then let's pencil him in for 830. And what do you feel about this Cardinal lineup then?
Would love that.
I think that'd be.
They might
fantastic.
still make the playoffs. Like they probably would.
So, but I think we're in the same spot on Walker. We're like, you know what? What he's done is amazing. I think there's going to be more of those rough patches. Credit to him to be able to come out of one as quickly as he did. I don't think he's going to go for a month and be lost in the desert like we've seen him do in the past. I think he's leveled up in the way that he approaches the game to a degree that I don't think that's in play for him to just absolutely be lost in the desert for a month at a time and then see those numbers completely fade away. 830, let's pencil him in for that. That's the current OPS of Ivan Herrera. What do you think? Is that coming down or is that about right?
It's probably about right. Like,
I think it could even be higher. I think it could even be higher than that.
Oh, okay.
He's only
I'm maybe just thinking, with the way that it started, you knew that wasn't the real Ivan Herrera, that at some point it was going to come up. And now even with that start baked in, it is now at an 830.
2 weeks ago, we had this conversation, right? And we said, right, Herrera's hitting OPS of 710, but it's not going to be that. He's going to be perfectly fine. And we've seen that, and the power still really hasn't manifested the way that it might. But his on base is the same as his slugging, which is like not what you want for your power hitter unless that OBP is 417. And then you're like, well,
that's like really,
I guess that's not the end of the world. He's going to hit for more power than he has. His OBP will come down a bit. Right now, that OPS is a 417. It's going to be more like a 380, 450. But you're going to get that 830 OPS, in my opinion. So, okay, we're talking about key cogs. We said Walker's going to come down, but not to a level that he's a like he's still your cleanup hitter in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's still a guy that's going to be okay. We like Herrera. Burleson, he's an 826. What do we think?
I also think that's about right.
About right.
Right where it's going to be. Not much higher, not much lower from where he's at the moment.
JJ Weatherholt is hitting 238 as a batting average, but his OPS is 791 because the power for him has been there. I remember preseason we were asking, like, if he's going to lead off, what would the on base need to be? He's on base of 353 right now. What do we think about 791 for him?
So I think if it's anywhere, I would guess lower than that. Probably not much lower. I mean, clearly the power is there, and it's like he's starting to get on base with a lot more regularity. I think he settles at around 770 at the end of the year, which, by the way, for a rookie, even of his stature, wild success.
He could be getting votes for the award, with that. So I would say I like him to be about 780, 790. I think it comes more from actually the on base ticking up a bit when the average does, but the slug, I'm not doubting that he's got power, but he's on a pace right now, Andy, to hit over 30 home runs. I just don't know that happens. But does he get to 20? Like, he's at 7 already. He could certainly hit 20 homers, but nothing demonstrably different about him. Here's a fun one. Mason Wynn started real slow and then was hotter than the surface of the sun. Your Astros had to find that out the hard way. Now he's kind of settled back in. 725 is his OPS. I'm going to guess if I looked on Baseball Reference, that puts him right about league average. Offensively, it's actually 10% above league average right now. Pitching is up. Offense is down. Okay. 725 for a Mason Wynn OPS, where he's not slugging much, just one homer on the season, but his on base is 352. That is a 40-point jump compared to what he was last year. And that's all I've asked for from him. I would say 725 is about right. And I love the way he's coming by it as well. I don't need him to hit homers. That is what I need, is a robust OBP, and steal a few more bases. He's got 4 steals. I'd like to see him get to 20 or 25.
So the way I say it is that, I could absolutely see that, but I do think that is kind of a best case scenario situation for Mason Wynn based on what we were thinking earlier in the year, what he should be jumping up to in this season for him.
Yeah.
I'd say it's still, it's a good number to be at, and I can absolutely see him finishing there. I need to see some
more
added
doubles
power
like
if it's going
Houston.
to, added
I need
power.
the doubles.
Yeah.
I need a number of doubles from him that we haven't. We saw it in Houston. Like, if you took away that Astros series, what's his OPS? Probably sub 700, right?
Yeah.
So that's a fair. And so, like, as we're talking about the answer to this question, we'll just note that, like we said, Walker's going down a little bit. Weatherholt could go down a little bit. Mason Wynn, you feel like, could go down a little bit. Nathan Church is a 712. And I think he has enough pop to be right about there. He's going to have some slumps, but a 700 OPS from the guy who's basically filling in for Nootbaar, I think is perfectly adequate, but also sustainable for him. And he plays really good defense, as we've seen.
Well, and again, if it's good enough for the Cardinals to say, it's Nathan Church in center field once Lars Nootbaar comes back.
That's where this gets interesting, because for as many ways as we are saying, that's going to tick down, that's not sustainable. Victor Scott is OPSing 450. I think one of two things are going to happen. That's going to go up, because I don't think he's that bad of a player. But he is limited in his profile. He's not a power hitter. He's got 1 home run. I think that happens, that he improves. Or, you're right. Nathan Church plays a lot of center field after Lars Nootbaar comes back at the beginning of June. And Lars Nootbaar wasn't great last year, but I know without looking that he wasn't OPSing 451. So that's where I'm kind of going. Cardinal offense won't be quite this good. They won't be top 5 in home runs. But will they be a top half offense? Yeah, I think they will, because I don't look up and down this lineup and see a bunch of things that can't be sustained or done in a close proximity to sustaining it. Nolan Gorman, 644 OPS. That's exactly what he's going to be in perpetuity.
That's
going to be
with
20 to 25 homers and 175 to 200 strikeouts.
Yeah.
But like, he's a bottom in a perfect world, like bottom third of your lineup guy. He could bat 7th ideally, but I think he's more like 5th or 6th this year. But when Lars Nootbaar comes back, I'm betting I'm betting Newbar 5th, and I'm betting Gorman 7th, and I'm having a right-hander Mason Wynn offset the 2 with hopefully less of a strikeout profile betting 6th, and Nathan Church gets bumped down to the Victor Scott role, and you've got Pages batting 8th or whatever on a given day.
Right.
That 1 through 9 becomes very, very interesting because there's power in just about every spot. Even Pedro Pages is going to, throughout a year is going to hit 7 or 10 home runs. I think he had 11 last year. Like that aspect of it where I'm not rooting against, nor am I writing off Victor Scott II. I want him to take charge, and he's in the lineup tonight. But if he doesn't, I think you have the makings of something that Lars Nootbaar's addition in a month can offset the drop-off you may have from 3 different players by taking Victor Scott's spot, or Victor Scott just performing better than a worst hitter in baseball level. At a 450 OPS, it's not personal when we're talking about his performance. Yeah. That just has to be better. I don't care how good of a defensive player you are, because Nathan Church is pretty good defensively too, and he's not going to OPS 450 if he took your spot. So that's why I look at it and say, like, I think they're in a spot, Andy, where I don't know whatever win pace they're on. If it's a 90 win pace today, I don't know if that's quite what they do. They're going to be a bad team. I don't see a world in which they're a bad team, barring a bunch of pitching injuries that really tank the thing, because the style of play that they've shown for over a month now, I don't think is going anywhere. And that's a credit to the coaching staff and the manager. But like, that's the reason that they're going to be able to overperform what everybody thinks that they should be doing.
So I think the bottom line is that we may have been a little wrong, but we could have foreseen a little bit of improvement from Wynn. Could have foreseen Burleson doing exactly what he did, Ivan Herrera doing exactly what he's doing. You're excited about JJ Weatherholt and saying like, oh yeah, go for that rookie of the year. And he's, putting himself in that conversation early on, which is all you can ask for at this point. We were maybe optimistic, but wildly wrong about how Jordan Walker was going to start.
That's the only one that I'm gonna like say I was really wrong about, because I thought a good step up for Walker. Remember, I was coming into the season saying I'm not giving up on Walker. I think he can give you more than what he has. Nolan Gorman, I'm not giving up on. I just know we've seen what he is, and what he is will be their third baseman. Here's where I was wrong on him. Defensively, he's been very good at third base. I discounted that, and I was wrong to have done so. He's shown very well defensively there. Walker was in the 500s for OPS. He could be OPSing 750 right now, and it would be a market improvement, and that's kind of what I thought we might get from him. 960 is Looney Tunes stuff from Jordan Walker. So that's where I was really wrong. Mason Weatherholt, I honestly probably was thinking more 770 to begin the year, and now I've seen him, and I'm more in that 780, 790, 800 range for his OPS. I've been pleasantly surprised by the power that he has shown. And that's the other thing where we talk about sustaining it. You're like, well, how is a team going to go from being fourth in the big leagues in homers right now? They're tied for fourth with the Cubs and the Reds. They're the only team that have hit more homers is the Yankees, the Braves, and the Dodgers in the whole league.
Yeah.
And you say, well, how is that possible? And at the same time, you go, well, I don't know if it's going to be sustained. Weatherholt's got 7. If I would have said J.J. Weatherholt 15 home runs this year to start the year, I would have been like, that's about right. But if that were the pace, he would be at about 3 right now. Jordan Walker hit 6 homers last year, something like that. He's got 10 now.
That's a different
17.
player. It's a different player.
So like if Jordan were on the pace he was last year, he'd have 1.
Yeah.
If JJ and Walker have 17. If they were on the paces of homers that I expected them to be, they'd have about 5. 44 minus 12 is 32. If those guys were on a more normal pace, the Cardinals would be 23rd in homers. So like you can almost distill it down to be like, if those two guys keep their pace, the Cardinals keep their pace as a home run hitting team. Those two things aren't going to happen. Walker's not going to hit 55 or whatever pace he's on, and JJ's not going to hit 30 plus. But if Walker hits 30 and JJ hits 20, then this will still be a team that can supply some power and surprise people in that regard.
Call or text us. Were we wrong about the Cardinals at the start of the year? They've definitely shown some real fight in their series of late, 20-14 now. And we know this, they're a heck of a lot of fun to watch, whether they're winning or losing. It was a fun series this weekend against the Dodgers. Cardinals trying to continue that against the Brewers this week. Let us know what you think about the Cardinals to this point at 875-KTGR. We'll talk more about that and the crucial game coming up tomorrow for Mizzou softball. That's next.
Miss the latest edition of The Big Show? Catch up on demand with a full show podcast on the KTGR app. Download it now, wherever you get your apps.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Lee's Tire Company, coming out of the really cold weather periods, and you're thinking about the road trips that you want to take this spring and summer. Don't forget about checking up on your tires, though. Make sure that they are in good shape for those long road trips, and head into Lee's Tire Company because they're the tire experts. They've got a huge selection, and they have so many ways to give you money back in your pocket whenever you buy new tires, including this month when they give you $140 back on select sets of 4 Cooper tires or $180 back on select Goodyear tires. There are so many other deals that they run each and every month. You can find them at leestirecompany.com. You can also go there to browse their full selection, put your specs in, see what they've got available to you, and then head into Lee's Tire Company on the Business Loop in Columbia or at University Garage by the MU campus or their location in Centralia. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com.
Hi, my name is Josh Dubert. I'm an exterior project specialist with TrueSun Exteriors and Interiors. Composite decking is a great solution. It's changed a lot over the years. There's 30 and 50-year warranties on this material. Comes in a ton of colors, a ton of options. We're the only TimberTech Platinum contractor in this area, and why that matters is for multiple reasons. TimberTech trusts us to properly install their decking, and they have given us the Platinum accolade, which means if you call TrueSun, you know that your deck is going to be installed correctly the first time, and it's going to last for a very long time. If you'd like us to come check out your deck, or you feel you might be interested in what we have to offer in regards to composite, I'd love to discuss it with you and have a conversation.
The difference between a house and a home is the attention to detail. At TrueSun Exteriors and Interiors, we'll turn your vision of a dream home into a reality. For more information or a free estimate, go to TrueSunExteriors.com.
TrueSunExteriors.com.
Play it again, sports. Little League Soccer. Low lights. Emma into the box. She shoots and scores for the other team. Shot on net, and the goalie is nowhere to be found. Oh, there he is. He's back from the porta potty with Dad. Owen into the open, dribbles, stops, and waves at his mom.
Hi, honey.
Kids' sports aren't always pretty, but with the right gear, they can at least look like pros. Play It Again Sports in Columbia. Think of them first so you don't finish last. Play It Again Sports ColumbiaMo.com.
It's one day only, and it's all about soon-to-be mommies and babies. The Minmo Baby Expo, presented by Boone Health, is an exciting event that will showcase all things baby, all bundled up at the Courtyard by Marriott. Saturday, June 6th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. From diapers and daycares for baby to essential oils and massages for mom. If your business markets to moms or to babies, we want you. Limited booth space available. For more info, visit MinmoBabyExpo.com. It's the Minmo Baby Expo, Saturday, June 6th.
What's new in the candy kitchen?
364 days out of the year, she cooks the meals, does the laundry, and drives the family taxi. Yet we honor her with one day only. That's right, just one. This year, make sure you honor the most important person in your life with the gift of the Candy Factory's decadent chocolate-covered strawberries. Then when Mom finishes the chocolate-covered strawberries and gives you a chocolatey smile, consider honoring her with more than just one day. Anniversaries, birthdays, Mother's Day. The Candy Factory in downtown Columbia.
They can't shoot it straight on the golf course, but they can shoot straight on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Back to Andy and Brenden on The Big Show on KTGR.
So the Cardinals getting it done with a series win this weekend. They did not sweep the Dodgers, but that was quite the series for the Cardinals to put on paper. Andy and Brenden here on The Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Cardinals play the Brewers tonight. You'll hear it on KTGR. Coverage begins at 5:50. So more divisional games. Again, we saw them against the Pirates last week. And if anyone wondering from that saying, oh, this is when the Pirates are going to start to downturn, it's like, well, the Pirates went back and they swept the Reds this weekend. So like, I think the Pirates are still legit.
That is as good of a series of events for the Cardinals as we can do with like the transitive property game. It doesn't always work that way, but that is noteworthy because watching that series, I was in Pittsburgh for 3 of those 4 games, kind of trying to figure out like, all right, this is kind of what it's been like for the Cardinals to play at PNC Park for like my entire lifetime. But I have been led to believe this Pirates team is different. They didn't look that different. the fact that they immediately knocked the Reds down a peg, a Reds team that had been just red hot before, kind of does mean something to me to say that, like, the Pirates are a capable team and the Cardinals are too. Like, this is just a division of teams where this is one thing we were right about talking preseason, that this doesn't look like a division that has any bad teams in it. Like, I don't think there's a bad baseball team in the bunch of NL Central competitors. Someone might lose 85 games just because that's the nature of the sport, but I don't think there's anybody that's truly bad in this division. And it's notable to me that the Cardinals did what they did to Pittsburgh, and then immediately the Reds couldn't handle those same Pirates. And Skeens didn't pitch in that series either. So, like, that wasn't just like a Paul Skeens thing, because he pitched on Thursday. So that is meaningful for sure.
We have a comment up from YouTube. How long before we consider this sustainable? They have one of the easiest schedules to date and one of the hardest schedules going forward.
That's fair. I mean, if you can look at it that way, I guess that's
Dodgers are pretty good though. I mean,
that's the thing. Can you really say that as much after? And like, this is going to change all the time. Yeah. The Mariners. We'll talk about the Royals sweeping the Mariners a little bit later on. The Mariners are a team that I would buy stock in right now because I still refuse to believe that that's not a winning baseball team by the time it's all said and done. So if you're looking at the schedule going, the Cardinals play this Mariners team that's no good because they're still 3 games under 500. Like, I think that is all going to come out in the wash, where Seattle's good. I saw that with my own eyes, and I refuse to believe that they're not going to end up on the better side of 500. So early in the season, it's hard to really play that schedule game as much. But it is true. Like, the Cardinals haven't played many of their divisional opponents yet, and they're going to get them all the rest of the way because so far, as of this moment, they've played 4 divisional games out of, what do you play? Say, I don't know, 50 of them.
It's not half your schedule anymore. It's more of like 1/3.
Like 12 or 13 against everybody. You got 4 teams, so like 50 games or so.
Yeah.
And so they'll have 45 or so remaining. But that's just the nature of playing in that division. And like, we're going to get to see what the Cardinals look like against the Cubs and against the Reds, and tonight against the Brewers as well.
Yeah, big games coming up this week. We'll see if the Cardinals can take advantage of those more meaningful games that are coming up, and we'll see how they do here tonight. Well, the Royals are in a similar situation. We'll get to them coming up at 5:05. You can call or text us here at 875-KTGR. Larry says, I was totally wrong about the Cardinals. Still have issues with the pitchers. They're a fun team. I mean, change a few minds here and there and get some more people in the ballpark. I think we'll see here very soon.
You've got a few things that you could tweak, I think, as time goes along. They made a roster move today. Cesar Prieto coming up, Thomas DeJacy going down. That, I think, makes your bench a little stronger because Prieto gives you a little bit more of a bat tool off the bench. Think like late inning left-hander, something to kind of offset the way that a pitching staff could throw a righty at you. Like, kind of think comes in for Fermin, maybe if they're facing a righty and you get the lefty Prieto up there. Maybe you make some defensive substitutions to get Prieto probably to an infield spot. Don't know exactly how they're going to do all that, but there's a little more utility right now for a Prieto than maybe the way they were using Sajaci in recent days. And so that's at least something. Gives you a lefty bat off your bench that you can, Oli Marmol can at least have as a threat as those late game decisions are being made with pitching. I'm not surprised they do that either right before a divisional series where those managers know each other. Everybody's going to try to get their edge that they can get.
Oh, yeah.
I don't mind having Prieto up, and I think we'll see Sajaci again, but he was kind of rotting away on the bench, and Oli Marmol said this afternoon, hard to keep a rhythm doing that. So they're gonna swap that out.
Yeah, we'll see how he gets used for this series in particular, and that'll be notable for the Cardinals in the very short term. We'll see how they do. Again, coverage at 5:50 tonight on KTGR. Tomorrow, huge game for Mizzou softball. It's, I think, almost a play-in game for them, essentially. They got a huge victory against Tennessee on Saturday, and with that, finish at exactly 500 for the regular season, 28-28.
Yep.
Got to be 500 or better by the end of the season, and this is still essentially counting towards the season,
right,
to be eligible for an at-large bid in the NCAA tournament, which means that tomorrow when they take on Auburn, a team that they swept earlier this year, win that game, they will guarantee to finish at 500 at least. or better if they keep going. If they beat A&M the next day, or you keep going in that.
And the prowess of the SEC in this sport, it probably is a play-in game, right? Like, 9 conference wins. There are teams in the SEC with fewer conference wins, but they did better in the non-con to be able to get that requisite overall record. Like right now, South Carolina, Ole Miss, those teams are well above 500 overall, but Missouri ended up with more conference wins. So I would like to think that is going to carry some weight. And if you qualify, by being a 500 team, that could be enough.
Yeah, it was last year. That's the thing that kept them out. The only thing, because they had a resume that was good. Last year, they beat the number 1 team in the country at the time multiple times. But again, they had too many games that they dropped in non-con that they shouldn't have been dropping. That kept them out ultimately, and they still had some of that this year, which I think is kind of notable, because it was hard to see Mizzou after they got swept by Florida in their first conference series, and they're under 500 at that point, I think, and they needed something to boost them, and usually an SEC schedule does not boost your record enough. It eats you up,
right?
It's hard to shave that away, but it was kind of impressive how that Mizzou wasn't dominating their opponents, except for one, which is the one, ironically, that they will have tomorrow. They went to Auburn and swept that team. So, I mean, it will be interesting to see what adjustments Auburn makes. They'll try to get to that. Auburn's kind of in a situation where they got to make a run here because they are under 500 at the moment, and they have to at least make the semifinals. Mizzou would have been in that same situation if they had lost Saturday, but every other series, they were swept by were swept by Florida and then swept Auburn. Every other series, they just took 1 game out of 3. And just they just consistently just get 1 game.
Yeah.
And you will
it shows the value of not being swept, that they are in the position that they're in as a result of doing exactly that.
Yeah. And then by that point, they were cleaning up their non-conference games. They had a non-conference weekend after that, swept every opponent there, just keep building the record. But then you had to win key ones. You had to beat Kansas on the road. Kansas is a good team. You had to go and win that game. That was not easy to do. Same thing with Missouri State. Had to beat them. So there were key moments where they put themselves back in position here that I do think need to be recognized at this point, because no matter what happens tomorrow, I think it is pretty notable that Mizzou softball got themselves to this point. Now, look, a lot of rides on tomorrow. You got to make it back. It's hard for this program to miss the NCAA regionals 2 years in a row. You got to prevent that as much as possible. So win tomorrow, and then we'll talk about what the future holds. But then I think you also need to see the bigger picture of man, that was a team that we left for dead once they lost twice to McNeese and once to Houston and once to Louisiana that one weekend where they went there. It was not looking good, but now they're in this position, and I think that's notable.
Yeah, I mean, you win and you're in, I think, is the way that we can look at this. And obviously you have to get the selection at that point, but I think the resume wise, they would be deserving of that.
They've got RPI of 40 as we speak. So again, maybe you look for bid stealers. I don't know. Maybe you're in that realm, but I would think that their resume, if they win tomorrow, would be deserving enough. So we'll see for sure. We will bring you coverage of it tomorrow, in fact, from the SEC radio network. Mizzou softball in the SEC tournament in Lexington. They have announced an updated start time, though. Originally, it was supposed to start at noon our time. It's now going to be 10 a.m. They're going to try and get all of the games in before some expected weather comes into Lexington. So they're going to move them up 2 hours. This is it never happens every year. Yeah, it really does.
Yep.
With both this tournament and what's going to be happening in Hoover 2 weeks from now. So Mizzou softball tomorrow against Auburn. Mizzou's Tigers are the 11 seed, taking on the 14 seed. If they win tomorrow, they will guarantee a record of 500 or better. You can hear it on KTGR tomorrow from the SEC radio network. Coverage begins at 9:45 in the morning. So be ready for some morning softball here on KTGR. Should be good. In the meantime, there will also be Mizzou baseball played. Not tomorrow, I should say.
Is that a threat or a promise?
Well, Both? Question mark.
Yeah.
I'll say that it will not be played tomorrow. They went ahead and canceled their game against Arizona State.
Is that how that went down?
For tomorrow. Yeah. There is weather. It's supposed to rain all day tomorrow. So it's tough to ask a team like Arizona State to come all the way up here with the chance of maybe not playing at all when they have a home series coming up this next weekend.
Yeah.
I saw a little bit of like back and forth of like, because you see a little bit of this time of year too, of like, who's maybe initiating the cancellation here? The one that's higher in RPI, or
this is what I was getting at.
Yeah,
yes.
A little bit. We do see this a little bit across college baseball in May.
Not a benefit if you're Arizona State to play in this game.
No,
the way that it works, it doesn't probably benefit them. Now, if there was no weather, would it have happened? Probably not. That would be a hard sell, maybe. But when there's any doubt of it, doesn't benefit him to play it because Mizzou has not a good resume, and Arizona State's a ranked team that has no reason to put their resume on the line. Is probably the way that goes. So,
yeah, they are ranked at the moment, so they do have to preserve a little bit of their standing, and we'll see how Mizzou then does against Vanderbilt this weekend. I'll say this. They're 4-20 right now in conference play. This weekend, probably their best chance at another win in conference play.
Why is Teo Barrett pitching?
Oh, that's a good pull. No, I don't think so.
Their chance. Okay,
that might be But my point is, next week at Texas, I don't think so. I think you're going to see something similar that you saw against Georgia this weekend. Georgia is at the top of the SEC standings. They're elite. Texas is also elite. I forget where they are in the standings right now, but they're a top 10, top 5 outfit. They will show that against Mizzou the next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And Vanderbilt's a little bit down from where we usually see them. So like maybe Mizzou can get a game from them. But we're just kind of waiting for the end of the season, aren't we?
Hey, that's familiar.
Pretty much. That's the situation with Mizzou baseball at the moment. So
there's your update.
You'll hear the games on KTGR this weekend. Coverage begins at 5:45 on Friday for the first one. Then you'll hear them all throughout the weekend here on KTGR radio waves. Call or text us if you want to weigh in. 573-875-KTGR. Here on the Big Show. Under the Bus coming up next. Did Shohei Ohtani have to have this reaction to a sweeper hitting his backside? That's next.
Now, your local Sports Center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. A time change for tomorrow's Mizzou softball game in the SEC tournament. It will now be a 10 a.m. first pitch. And you'll hear coverage from the SEC radio network beginning at 9:45 tomorrow morning as Mizzou faces Auburn in their first game in the SEC tournament. Mizzou needs one win in the tournament in this game in order to finish with a record of 500 or better, which would make them eligible for the NCAA tournament. Again, coverage begins from the SEC radio network at 9:45 tomorrow morning. Cardinals took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers this weekend to improve to 20-14 on the season. They take on the Brewers tonight at Busch Stadium. 6:45 first pitch. Kyle Leahy gets the start. Coverage begins at 5:50 on KTGR. Royals, after a weekend sweep at the Seattle Mariners, get to 15-19 on the year. They are in action tonight against the Cleveland Guardians. First pitch set for 6:40 at Kauffman Stadium. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with Steve's Pest Control. Remember, it is termite swarm season, and if you see black-bodied, long-winged insects, you may be having a swarm. Call Steve's Pest Control today for a no-cost evaluation or visit stevespestcontrol.com.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking cloudier skies into this evening with scattered showers and storms developing likely after sunset, continuing into the overnight hours. It'll be soggy with a chance to see a few storms with large hail up to quarter size. Tomorrow, cool with temperatures remaining in the mid-50s, rain off and on throughout the day. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
on Simmons Field.
Swinging a ground ball, hit past third and the left. That's a base hit.
And across the SEC.
Fastball, swing and a miss. He struck him out.
The Tigers are ready to roar.
There it goes. Long drive, deep right field. That is gone.
This is your radio home for Mizzou baseball.
The Tigers win this one in a walk-off here in the bottom of the ninth inning.
Mid-Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
Rally House, shop every team in town. College and pro, come on, it's time to go.
Your home for sports just got bigger. Shop a new Rally House at the corner of Broadway and Stadium and 2 other Columbia locations.
Column stand tall on the black and gold road from Broadway to Faroe. Let the Tiger Pride show.
Rally House, it's your city, it's your house, it's a Rally House.
Level up your fandom in-store or online at rallyhouse.com.
Hey, you got me?
Yeah.
All right.
Game on the line. Here's the pitch.
What?
Oh no, we're gonna miss the end of the game.
It's those nasty storms again.
Come on, honey, don't blame it on the storms.
What do you mean?
I told you to call Midway Electric to get us that backup generator. Now can you please call them so we don't miss another big play?
Don't let spring storms get in the way of baseball season. Let Midway Electric keep your power on no matter the weather.
Yeah!
Midway Electric, powered by people with pride. MidwayElectricInc.com.
Summer is coming. Are you ready? This is Michael Agnew at API Project Fitness. Now is the time to get moving. For a limited time, try our gym and all of our classes, expert coaching for just $1 for your first month. That's right, full access, real results, and a community that pushes you to be your very best, all for just $1. No pressure, no excuses, just progress. Stop waiting and start today for just $1. Find out more at APIProjectFitness.com.
Tired of calling Andy and Brenden? So are their wives. Then shoot them a text right now. 573-875-KTGR and become part of the Big Show.
So Shohei Ohtani, I don't know if he needed to have this type of reaction to this, Brenden.
I know that he didn't. However, I'm not that upset about it.
Why not? You're ready to start hating on Ohtani here?
No, I'm saying I'm not upset about it. It was kind of funny. Like,
yeah,
it was a 75-mile-per-hour sweeper from Justin Brule that kind of caught him on the backside, maybe a little bit lower back, but it looked like he got some cushion, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And Ohtani, funnier. I mean, do you have the audio of this? Because the noise he makes is funnier than anything else. I might have to try and find this audio.
It's all right. Yeah, I don't have it, unfortunately. But yes, he was saying it before. He was almost making the noise before the ball hit him.
Yeah. And it was like, he did this big dramatic spin out of the batter's box as well. And like, as he's walking to first base, he's kind of laughing and smiling about it, knowing how probably ridiculous he looked. Do you think he was doing it in a way to be funny, like overselling it? Or was he actually like, in that moment, you still have a projectile coming at you. It kind of takes you by surprise.
Yeah. You're like,
I don't know. I don't know how much like a WWE wrestler he was selling it, or if it was just like that was his natural reaction. Either way, I found it hilarious. And it was one of the few times he got on base in the series. Ohtani was 0 for 12 in the series against the Cardinals.
Yeah.
That is the most hitless at-bats he has had in a 3-game series in his career. There's only been 4 times in his career that he's gone hitless in a 3-game series where he played all the games. That was one of his best plays of the weekend, which is kind of crazy to think that the Cardinals held him down like that.
He got on base with that, at least, Yeah, I think I would have a similar reaction, so I'm not going to that play. 75 probably
though? Nothing.
Still hurts a little bit.
Come on.
It was really when you're walking over to first base.
Yeah, give me a break.
No, I won't say Shohei Ohtani is soft. I won't say that. But if you're a Cardinals fan, you probably had an avenue to say it. You know what? That was fun. That added to the fun.
Both broadcasts were laughing at him.
Yes.
Like that tells you what you need to know.
Sure. Also, under the bus to NBC. This maybe on a more serious note, folks in Louisville, but more so business owners in Louisville, were really upset with this change that NBC made to Friday before the Kentucky Derby. On Friday, as you'll recall, they have the Kentucky Oaks, which is also a huge milestone race around Kentucky Derby weekend. It has historically been around the same time the Kentucky Derby runs, around 6 o'clock or so. They moved it back to more of a quote-unquote prime time slot for TV to 8:40 under the lights. And there were a lot of folks in Louisville upset by that because, as you might know, it's a big business weekend for the city of Louisville, especially on that Friday night, because that's when everybody's in. Maybe they're in for Friday night, and you see the Kentucky Oaks. That's at 6 o'clock. Then you filter out. You go to dinner. You go to the bar, whatever. Huge weekend. But now that was cut into a little bit because they had the Kentucky Oaks so late. And, bad move by NBC. Towards the community of Louisville for something like this, which apparently they're going to be doing for like 6 years now.
Yeah, I'm sure people locally are not super thrilled about the timing on that. I experienced the same thing in Pittsburgh, where by the time these baseball games got over and I was done with my work, it was like 11:30 p.m. and nowhere was open.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to spend a per diem when there's no food being served anywhere? That was kind of tricky. I had to figure my way through that. So I feel for you, Louisville, because I kind of just had the same experience. Woe is me.
But actually, Louisville, I mean, that is tough. They were really that late in Pittsburgh?
Well, I mean, the clubhouse, you got to go. You got to write your story. Like when Nathan Church makes a catch to end the game, your story is going to be about that.
Yeah.
And it just happened. So I couldn't really write ahead. That was my issue.
Yeah. It was quite an entertaining Kentucky Derby. Golden Tempo coming from all the way in the back of the pack to then surge ahead and win it all in the very last moment by a nose against the favorite Renegade. And Cherie DeVaw becomes the first female trainer ever to win the Kentucky Derby. Very fun race and a very meaningful one at that.
That was a cool video, too, of her reaction to kind of the tail end of that race, of seeing, she can kind of see it coming, that they're my horse, I know what this looks like. They're about to make a charge, and then holds on. That was cool. You put a lot of your livelihood into that, being a a trainer, and that's the biggest stage for that event. So that was I did see that video after Saturday's race, and that was pretty cool to watch back.
And like the reporter who interviewed her, like in the last hour beforehand, like that she predicted that horse would win. It was like her last broadcast on the Kentucky Derby as well. She's had a long career. Like there are a lot of really cool moments from the.
She should have told me.
Yeah, I know. Shoot, 25-1.
Second year in a row that my horse was looking good, was winning after like 3/4 of the race, and then finished like fifth. Happened twice in a row.
That's how it goes in horse racing a lot of time. All right, up next, have the Royals shown enough to be back? Whatever back means. Hey, a sweep will help do the trick. We'll talk about it next. You're on The Big Show.
When storms hit, the damage can be devastating. But really, you can prevent some of the damage a storm causes before it even happens with Advanced Tree Solutions. Advanced Tree Solutions protects you by removing hazardous trees and limbs so they don't destroy your home. Don't let a tornado or high winds decide what falls. Call the professionals with the gear, the crew, and the experience to keep your property safe. Advanced Tree Solutions, your tree's best friend. AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com.
Rainy, what should we get Mom for Mother's Day? She doesn't need more candles. She definitely doesn't need another air fryer. Mom should go fill out her wish list at Betts Jewelers. Betts Jewelers is having a special wish list event May 5th through 9th. Come in and add 3 items to your wish list to get a $50 store credit. No minimum purchase, no catch, just free money, baby. Moms love jewelry for Mother's Day, so go to Betts Jewelers and make it easy on Dad.
Beautiful moments begin at Betts. Begin at Betts.
A colony of termites. They make it sound so nice, don't they? A colony. Well, it's not nice. It's the vanguard of a precision operation that could involve up to as many as 1 million termites in your backyard. That's more termites than people in the Uzbekistan army. Think about that. The Uzbekistan army underground in your backyard, and they want to eat your house. Now, you can either call the National Guard, but they're busy, or call your friend Steve.
I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control. Our Centricon system for termites doesn't just get them out of your house, it kills the entire colony, dead. Plus, we give a $250,000 termite damage warranty protecting your home. We're going to solve your pest problem, I guarantee it.
From the tenacious termites to the rascally rodents, call Steve's Pest Control. Online at stevespestcontrol.com.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, Mid-Missouri's total sports station. KTGR Sports Center.
I'm Nick DeLuca. Anthony Edwards making his return. T-Wolves star guard expected to play tonight in Game 1 against the Spurs, just 9 days after suffering a bone bruise on his knee in Game 4 of Round 1 against the Nuggets. Put up 22, 30, and 17 in his 3 full first-round games. Ayo Dosunmu ruled out for Minnesota with a calf injury tonight. Elsewhere, the Pistons are signing head coach J.B. Bickerstaff to a contract extension after leading the team to their first playoff series win since 2008. He's in his second season with the Pistons, going a combined 104-60 in the regular season. Pistons erasing a 3-1 deficit in round 1. The Magic firing head coach Jamal Mosley after yesterday's Game 7 loss. Spent the past 5 seasons with Orlando, reaching the playoffs in each of the last 3, all first-round exits. In baseball, Tigers ace Tarek Skubal will have surgery on loose bodies in his throwing elbow. Procedures typically take a 2 or 3 month recovery.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
From Faroe.
15 to the 10, to the house.
Bush.
Back to the wall, and it's got her.
And Arrowhead.
Touchdown!
Kansas City to your speakers.
This is the big show, baby.
Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is The Big Show with Andy and Brenden on KTGR.
Second hour here on The Big Show. Andy and Brenden here. Call or text us with what you think about the Royals getting a sweep this weekend. Does that mean they're back? Does it mean that they're about to start turning things around once again to try to get back on track in that division, which maybe they have a lane to get back into it with how the division has gone so far? We'll talk some Royals here in a little bit. You can also get your Cardinals thoughts in as we get ready for Cardinals baseball here. Coverage will begin in less than an hour. And Mizzou basketball added a piece last week. Are they done? Could they be done adding pieces, or do they still need to add at least one more? You can tell us what you think about the roster so far for Dennis Gates at 525 here on The Big Show. Call or text us 875-KTGR. But first, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the Top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain number 1.
It was a good weekend for the Cardinals, no matter how you slice it. Taking 2 out of 3 from the Los Angeles Dodgers at Busch Stadium. Didn't get the win yesterday. Lost 4-1 in the opportunity, anyway, for a Dustin May revenge game. Didn't get it done. He was quality, though, once again. 6 innings, 3 runs. That is his 4th quality start over his last 5 outings. Cardinals just couldn't get anything done against Justin Brokleski. They didn't strike out against him, though. Not even once. So that kind of feels like another game where you feel decent about the approach, even in a losing effort. And the previous games of the weekend, Michael McGreevy, fantastic on Saturday. Cardinal bats really got it going in that win on the previous Friday when Liberatore was the starter. I mean, they're looking like a team that, yeah, there might be some nitpicking you can do about how, that's not going to keep up from Jordan Walker, but most everything else feels rather sustainable.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
And something I never would have thought could happen with the Dodgers coming to town. Shohei Ohtani going 0 for 12 in the series against the Cardinals over the weekend is the most hitless at-bats that Ohtani has had in any 3-game series of his big league career. Maybe that speaks to the Cardinals pitching staff able to kind of make some adjustments. Remember when Yordan Alvarez crushed him for 3 games in a row in Houston? Kind of thought the same would be said about Ohtani this weekend, and it just didn't happen. That's a feather in the cap of the Cardinals pitching staff, without a doubt.
Number 3.
There's Jordan for 3. Yes!
Great weekend for baseball in the state of Missouri because the Royals swept the Mariners over the weekend as well, which means a lot to me because I saw how solid of a team the Mariners are a couple of weekends ago at Busch for 3 days straight. I would buy stock in the Mariners right now. That team is going to be fine, but I think it does say a lot about the Royals' resolve to take 3 in a row from them after what had been a pretty lean start to the season. The Royals are still below 500, but we saw some good pitching the last couple of days. That's what you come to expect. Maybe the Royals will be okay after all.
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it.
Yeah, pretty simple. Mizzou softball needs a dub tomorrow. They're 28-28 as of the moment. They'll begin the SEC tournament against Auburn at 10 a.m. You can hear the game on KTGR. You get a win, I think that means you're in for the regionals because you're going to have the requisite 500 record necessary for qualification, and you won 9 games in SEC play. That means something.
Number 5.
What is the 5 fingers? Say to the face. Slap.
All right, we're already getting reports that Patrick Mahomes is going to participate in OTAs. This was the easiest prediction I've ever made. He's one of the biggest physical freaks in sports history. Never in doubt, he's starting week 1.
That's The Big Show's Top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
You can call or text us at 875-KTGR if you want to weigh in. I mean, it is on track that way. Things can always happen, though.
Nothing's happening.
There can be setbacks. There can be, missteps
not for him
here and there.
Here's the thing,
superhuman.
and I can't wait to hear Will Carroll's take tomorrow. He's going to be so ahead of what people expect to happen with an ACL situation that you're going to have the conspiracy theorists that are like, oh, he was never hurt to begin with.
Oh,
right? Like that. I'm telling you that is going to be the narrative from some of the folks out there that's like, it was a fake injury. He faked it so that he could just kind of have an excuse for why the Chiefs weren't going to make the playoffs. That is the degree to which he is a freak of nature, because that will be a narrative that's out there. I'm telling you.
It's funny. there are other freaks of nature that we have seen, maybe not in football, but just in sports in general. I believe Kelly Harper is one of them. Like Kelly Harper came back from an ACL tear, like for Tennessee women's basketball, like within a few months.
Yeah.
Because Pat Summitt just told her, like, no, you're gonna be back sooner than whatever your timeline is. And it's just like,
and she's like, okay.
She's like, all right, I guess,
yes, coach.
I guess
Pat
coach
Summitt
told me
to
so. I just need to do
it,
that.
I guess.
Yep. Mahomes, maybe he doesn't need that type of coaching, but I would feel like he gets that from his trainer, who's just like an insane freak. Whoever he's got hired, what's his name? Bobby Stroopy.
Bobby something.
Something. He's got every bit of equipment and resource that he would need at his disposal to be back from an ACL in shorter time than most people would be. So yeah, like if everything goes well, then yeah, you'll see him week 1. It is interesting how the NFL schedule makers might treat that though.
Oh, they have to be a little careful, but
a little careful with the big
games. I think you can largely count on it. And if not, I mean, everybody's excited to see Justin Fields. So,
or Garrett Nussmeier, maybe.
Or Garrett Nussmeier, which is
that's
something as well that I obviously was a little out of pocket last week, but that's a wild one to have happened.
I mean, the next backup after Justin Fields.
I mean, that's not a bad pick toward the end of a draft. He had way higher expectations at LSU than what we kind of saw play out. And maybe a lot of stuff that wasn't his fault. So I don't hate that at all for the Chiefs. Let's try this. I don't know if I'm doing it right technically. If not, I'll reload. I'm attempting to play for you Shohei Ohtani's hilarious hit by pitch. Let's see if this works.
Let's see.
Nope. Just give me another. I'm a reload. I'm just going to reload. Andy.
Reload. Okay.
Because I got this soundboard in front of me, and it's like there's a lot of different things that I may have to press or not press. And I was trying the whole commercial break to get it to go. We're going to try it to go. We're going to try it to go. We're going to try it to go. Well, that didn't sound good at all.
Hey,
that
remix.
Didn't sound good at all. I'm going to try this one more time, and I'm going to lay out on my microphone, and let's see if we can hear Shohei. Apologies for
we heard it a few times in a row. That was great, though. That was.
But that was what I want.
Turn into a remix song in and of itself.
It kind of sounded like you could definitely put a beat down to that. I gotta have to relearn this soundboard over here, but I ultimately got done what I was intending in a way. So, but yeah, that was you heard it about 3 times. So it's just absolutely selling the pain and terror in his mind after what was a 75-mile-per-hour hit by pitch off the cushiony part of your body.
From Justin Brule, right? That was his Brule threw the pitch.
Yeah,
the
that's as hard as Brule throws anyway. No, it was a sweeper.
Seems that way, man.
I didn't see Ohtani get a hit off of him. That was just the way that you mitigate the damage and you move on to the next guy. I didn't hate it.
It's better than, I guess it looks better than an intentional walk, I suppose. If you're really worried about Ohtani in that spot, which
0 for 12.
0 for 12, man.
That's crazy, man.
0 for 12. But hey, Cardinals have shown to be one of the stronger teams, at least through the first month plus. Can they continue to be that? We'll see. They take on the Brewers again tonight at 6:45. You hear it on KTGR. All right, on the Royals front. Look, when it all gets put together, they're a fun team also. Like maybe not as fun as the Cardinals. I don't know how fun it is to, any win is fun. 4-1, it was more just like business-like. That's what you would expect.
Yeah, I was going to say very business-like way to win games because of their pitching. Just get them enough. If you score 4 runs every game, the Royals are going to win a lot of games. Obviously, they needed a little bit more than that on Friday, but they got it. That's an impressive series win where they go 7-6, and then your more Royalsian games 3-2, 4-1. You get the pitching, you get just enough hitting, like that can work. That can be a path if you can put it together consistently enough. Royals, that's a big series sweep to get them kind of back in striking distance, and an AL Central that is much more gettable right now than the NL Central because
for sure.
nobody's. You got the Guardians at 18-17. The Tigers at 18 and 17. The Tigers just lost Scooble for 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of room there for growth, I think, if you're Kansas City.
And look, the wins definitely let you see the path. And yeah, they were supposed to face Scooble this weekend. They're not going to anymore. That's big.
Nobody is.
Yeah, they have 10 divisional games coming up in a row now.
Here we go.
They've got 7 this week against the Guardians and the Tigers, who are probably your biggest competition for that top spot. Then you go to the White Sox before you then head to St. Louis and face the Cardinals at Busch Stadium. Like huge couple of weeks. But I mean, are they back is maybe a question to dive into, because look, if they are back, then they're going to be competitive in these games. I don't know how competitive they need to be in order to, at this stage, be back in position to be pushing for that division race or whatever it is. But the divisional games are going to play a huge factor into tiebreakers. And so getting at least a winning homestand here in these 7 games is going to be a very fair and reasonable goal to set for this Royals team based on how they're playing now. I see some things coming together for this offense. See Jack Caglione coming up in big spots. Like they played Caglione all 3 days this weekend, and he delivered a big hit Saturday to tie the game, send it to extras. Then they get it done in extras to seal the win there. I'm seeing Carter Jensen continue a very strong start to his first full rookie season, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Isaac Collins comes up big yesterday he's
a nice player,
right? Like he's starting to show it a little bit more than he did at the very start of the season. He was OPS around the 500s, like to really start out. Now he's up to 680.
Yeah.
And like that,
he's going to be a 700 OPS guy, right. And solid defender. Like he'll be a solid piece for him.
And so like you combine that with, Kyle Isbell's up to 798. Like he's been awesome to start.
That's not going to stay.
Even if it doesn't, like you still have a little bit like but the big key to it also was Pasquantino and Perez were in the 500s, and now they're up. Both of them right now are above 600 at the moment. So it's not where they should end up, but they're starting
have to be stars. Your stars have to be stars. And I would say that even relative to like, is the Cardinals thing sustainable? We talked about the minutia of who we expect to maybe drop off, and then said, if Nathan Church and Newt Barr kind of replicate Nathan Church, Victor Scott, maybe you actually don't lose a lot offensively. With the Royals, it's very easy to see how things would improve, because it is those names that are sitting in the 600s that should be upper 700s, if not 800 type of OPS guys, just becoming that. And those are the central figures of your lineup. And it doesn't take a 1 through 9, I don't think, for the Royals to be successful on a given day, because their pitching is better than what the Cardinals pitching projects to be. You just need a couple of guys. Like Miguel Garcia had a 2-run RBI hit, and there was one or more RBI in that game on Saturday. You win 3-2. Like, done. They can win a lot of games that way. Just have enough 1 through 9 that somebody or a couple of guys in a given game can be the one to deliver a big hit. You score 4 runs, you win 4-3. Like, they can win a lot of games that way, and their offense is better than what it has shown to be so far. So I actually think with the Scooble news in particular, like, I still don't think the Tigers are going to be dreadful, but 500 is what they've been. You lose him, it's hard to think they're going to go shoot up from where they are right now. Guardians, I would say, would be a team to look out for, but they just don't have, and I know that I've gotten caught saying this before about them. It's like the Brewers of the American League, but they just don't have anybody. So if they're going to go 82 and 80, can the Royals beat that? Yeah, they can. I actually like the Royals' chances to win the division better today than I did at the start of the season, despite the fact that they've gone downward compared to what I thought they'd be. Nobody around them has emerged the way that I expected the Tigers to do, and I just don't think I buy that the White Sox are going to make a run. The Twins, I think it's very gettable of a division. I like the Royals to win it today better than I did a month and a half ago.
Wow.
Yeah, because I don't see the Tigers holding up without Scooble, and the Guardians can win 82, but they can't win 88 because they don't have any players.
The Guardian, especially when Stephen Kwan is at the 607 OPS, and Jose Ramirez is at 759.
Maybe that's why they can, though, right? That would be a reason. Like, I don't know all the numbers, But besides those two guys, I don't think they've got a ton.
No, they don't.
Is Daniel Schneemann gonna come on?
He's at 890. So that's gonna come down. That's gonna come down.
Real. Yeah. Their Guardians are gonna win a hearty 83 games. Can you get me 84 Royals? If so, congratulations. You're divisional champs. That's what I think can happen at this point, honestly. And this weekend shows me that, because that's the way they need to be able to win. And I'm staying stubborn about the Mariners. I think that's still a good baseball team, despite they have basically the same record as what the Royals do.
Well, and look, I mean, that Witt's Bobby's at a 764 right now. That will not finish that way. Like, he will finish at least above 800.
Give me 850,
if not more.
He'll be fine.
He'll be there. You would hope that Salvi and Pasquantino come up from where they're at right now. I think you can expect that, certainly, from them. 633 for Pasquantino, and Salvi's at a 604. You have to expect that at this point if the Royals are going to be a good team.
Salvi's getting up there in age. I'm not going to go crazy about predicting for him, but you're not going to suddenly be Vinny P and they move the fences in at your home park and you go from 832, 762, 760, 798. He's been as consistent as anybody and not a strikeout guy.
Right.
I don't know why he's striking out so much so far this year, but I think he's going to find it and he'll be in the 750s to, maybe even still find a way to put a charge and get to 800. I don't have any worries about him at all.
And so, like, the offense should be better. Like, it's starting because the guys down the lineup are outperforming at the moment, and then you're just waiting for all of the cogs to
your
to
main
come
guys.
Main guys.
That's what you need. You need the main guys. The Cardinals have their main guys performing, and the down lineup guys, it's like, can you sustain that and be, give them a chance? The Royals is the opposite problem. But I think that's a problem that's more easily resolved because you're not asking guys who've never done it before to suddenly turn into good players. You're asking guys who have been as consistent as anybody in the league, just getting back to what they're capable of being. And I think that there's a reasonable expectation that happens.
And so it should happen that way with what the Royals are currently composed as. Now, I will say this, but their starters, I think, generally are very good. So far, they're middle of the pack in Major League Baseball in starter ERA. They're at a 4.01.
Yeah.
Brenden, I am a little worried about Cole Reagans.
He wasn't great last year, though. That's the thing.
He wasn't great last year because he was hurt. Is he still hurt?
Yeah,
He's still that way. It was not great again on Friday from him. There have been good starts. Like, he has still shown, and he's still striking guys out. Like, you like the swing and miss that he's showing. So, like, you can maybe see signs of him working out of that down the line. But there's still a few too many blowups than I would like my so-called ace. Like, he was the opening day starter. Like,
he's your fourth or fifth best pitcher.
Right. Yeah, right now he is. That's the case.
If Bubic continues to be what he's been, if Michael Wacha continues to be what he's been, and that is just what a career Michael Wacha is having, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like a lifetime ago that he was with the Cardinals. He was with them for a long, long time. Hasn't been with them since 2019. He's had a whole second act at this point that has been, I mean, arguably better than his years with St. Louis. He's been nails for the last 4 or 5 years, which is I just want to sing his praises for a moment. But
yeah,
I mean, Lugo, what you're going to get from him is just fantastic production. Noah Cameron has come back down to earth in a way that I completely am not surprised by. That was the danger to me. And when we talked about Brendan Donovan for Noah Cameron, I just don't think you can do that without getting an arm that you feel like has that prospect pedigree. And so we'll see what he ends up being able to settle into. But you're right. Like, right now you've got 3 of your 5 looking really, really good, like ace caliber, all 3 of them. And then Cameron's like a number 5. Reagans is performing like a number 5 that could end up being a number 1 again. But you do kind of need all hands on deck, I would say, if you're going to say, hey, pitching is our strength every 5th day. Doesn't matter who's out there. Like, we think we can beat you 3-2. Reagans has to start to embody that a little bit more, or those conversations that I've had about the division and all that is maybe a little bit more of a question mark.
And look, it does need to be there because right now, Royals bullpen shambles.
Yeah,
they're worse than the Cardinals right now. They've got a 5 ERA in the bullpen right now.
Yeah, now Urseg has been okay, but like not the way that you want maybe for a closer to be. But a lot of that was, didn't you have an early one that was kind of kind of rough. I'm trying to recall.
He had a couple of blown saves in a row during the stretch where the Royals had like their 8-game losing streak or something like that. Look, maybe they wanted Carlos Estevez to be that. Estevez still hurts.
He's still been injured.
Still. But other than that, I mean, Nick Mears was a good pickup, but there's not much else left that you can really trust at the moment to get to those guys. And again, if Reagan's is only getting you through 5, if that, and spotting the other team 4 runs like he did the other night, like that, the Royals offense has shown more of a propensity to come back in those situations. But again, I don't know how many times more that you can expect it. Like that's the irony of this, Brenden, is that we have talked a lot about their offense just not being there. And maybe it's not quite where it needs to be a strong team that contends for titles, but it's been the pitching that has led to this skid. And especially the bullpen. The bullpen has not been able to keep leads. And there are days that you were expecting to have better production from your pitching staff or from your starters, like on the days when Cole Reagans was pitching, that they have not gotten. And so that, I think, has been more of a contributing factor even than the offense as to where they are at this point. But if they start to bring it back together and you get back on track with where your rotation is, then you can start to see what the Royals have built as a roster the way that it should be. Just now comes down to, okay, these games become very crucial. You come back home for them. You've been a significantly better home team than road team, and you get the most important teams on your schedule coming up. Now is the time to put up or shut up.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting to see, and you're right about the bullpen stuff. How much is that just like Estevez not being healthy, being the guy that he was last year? Remains to be seen exactly how they kind of can continue to navigate those waters. But they do need a little bit more out of the bullpen for sure.
It's going to be key this week to get a winning homestand. Can the Royals do it? Are they back? Tell us what you think about the Royals here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Call or text us at 573-875-KTGR. Leave a comment on YouTube and on Facebook. We're live right now. We'll come back and talk more about Mizzou basketball. How close are they to done with the roster build? Could they be done right now? We'll get to all that next on the Big Show.
The best subscriptions in life are free. Subscribe to KTGR on YouTube to watch The Big Show and other exclusive content. YouTube.com/@KTGR Sports.
Play it or plunge it with Brian Ware Plumbing.
The bathroom made my wife cry, so I said I'll just DIY. I'll fix this on the first try. Why? I watched a YouTube video. Whoa, now I think that I'm a pro. Whoa, I'll have the stupid toilet fix. Whoa, before you even have to go. Whoa, I watched a YouTube video.
Vote now on the Brian Ware Plumbing Facebook or Instagram page.
From elegant weddings to corporate lunches with flavor and flair, Courtyard by Marriott Columbia brings the party and the pros. It's the home of Main Event Catering. And with every event, you'll get an award-winning chef, full banquet staff, and drop-and-go options for any size crowd. And the event center holds up to 300 guests with 8 flexible rooms. If you need help, there's a Marriott certified wedding coordinator on staff too. Book now by calling 573-443-8000.
The next 30 seconds could save you hundreds on your car insurance. At The Hartford, we're passionate about your protection. If you're 50 or over, AARP Auto Insurance from The Hartford gives you benefits that really matter. And you could save $597 when you switch. How's that for a little peace of mind? Visit trusthartford.com today. The Hartford, your protection is our passion. The Hartford Insurance Group, Inc. pays royalty fees to AARP for the use of its intellectual property. AARP and its affiliates are not insurers. Savings vary.
I'm U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. The sound of a seatbelt. It's one of the most important sounds in our car. It means everyone is ready and everyone is safe. The more our kids see us put on our seatbelts, the more natural it is for them to put theirs on too. Make it a priority. Buckle up every time. Hear the sound? Make it a habit.
Paid for by NHTSA.
Everyone's looking for their paradise. For some, the search starts at a dispensary. At Shangri-La, it is the dispensary. Because Shangri-La isn't a shady, oh, I can't wait to get out of here kind of spot. It's a welcoming, fun place to hang out, watch TV, and learn about the massive product selection with the cool staff. Whether you're a regular or first-timer, they'll get you set up just the way you like. Because Shangri-La Dispensaries is paradise found. ShangriLaDispensaries.com.
Rally House, shop every team in town. College and pro, come on, it's time to go.
Your home for sports just got bigger. Shop a new Rally House at the corner of Broadway and Stadium and 2 other Columbia locations.
Column stand tall while the black and gold roll from Broadway to Faroe. Let the Tiger Pride show.
Rally House, it's your city, it's your house, it's the Rally House.
Level up your fandom in-store or online at rallyhouse.com.
My name is Cornell Dillard. For many years, I was stubborn from getting a hearing aid because of the stereotype. I went to hearing aid consultant because they're not trying to move a product. They want to work with you to make sure that you can benefit from their services. And I must say I was not disappointed. And I regretted all the years I let my pride interfere with my ability to hear what I'm hearing today.
Hearing Aid Consultants in Allmaker Repair Lab. We are here for you today so you can hear tomorrow. Online at hearingaidconsultants.com.
If it's Mizzou sports, it's happening here. Now, back to the big show on KTGR.
Well, again, the Royals trying to keep the upswing going after going 4-2 on their last road trip against the A's and Mariners. And again, just trying to take advantage of that Tarek Skubal news. Like that's a blow to Detroit. And maybe a little bit for Skubal. I mean, I think he'll be fine, like with whatever contract he gets next. Like it's just notable that in his historic ARB year where he got something like, what was it, $34 million in his ARB case, and then
something crazy,
like the most ever. It was the largest disparity between two sides in a case like that, and then he wins the case, and now he's going to be out for significant amount of time. Should be back this year, but I wonder how it affects him down the line.
Yeah, I mean that you have an elbow surgery. That's not nothing as a pitcher. So it is just like gonna remove some loose bodies in the elbow kind of deal. But I mean, it's not what you want.
So Tigers trying to figure that part out with how they can get or stay competitive in their division. Royals trying to take advantage of that. They get the Guardians and Tigers for their next 7 games at home this week at Kauffman Stadium. In the meantime, Mizzou basketball got one step closer to finishing their roster build, if you ask me. I don't know if they're quite there just yet. Maybe need one more piece. But do they? Is there maybe a world where, like, they're at 13 players, they've got 2 roster spots open. Do they need to add another piece in the transfer portal before it's all said and done here, based on what they have added so far with 4 transfers and the 3 freshmen coming in? The latest one being Kennard Davis, the transfer out of BYU. Dennis Gates called him a combo guard. Which
he did.
He's
Which, like, I think that's what he is. But that is interesting that Dennis in his bat signal actually included that, which is not been typical of the way that those bat signals are done. I just thought that was interesting.
I mean, he didn't necessarily say that for Jameer Jones either, who probably will be a combo guard. And after playing power forward, it's just.
Is there a reason that you think he did that? Like, I don't know.
Well, he made a caption for the Bryson Tiller one saying this is the exact time when I offered him when I was at Cleveland State, just as a storytelling aspect of it. But this latest caption, he's just going out and saying, Kennard Davis is going to be a combo guard for us.
I wonder who that's for. Is that like for Jason Crow to be like, don't worry, you're the point guard. You know what? Like, I don't know. It's just interesting. I haven't gotten to weigh in on Kennard Davis. He's a St. Louis kid originally. Went to Vashon. Just looking at the numbers, I'm not like over the moon about a volume 3-point shooter that didn't make a ton of threes. It was just 32% last year. But I think like this was the type of player that you're looking for. And there's certainly, I think, upside for more than what he did at BYU last year. Was a 37% 3-point shooter at Southern Illinois the year before that. So I don't know. This would be, we were looking for a guy that could shoot some threes. And if that percentage ticks up a little bit, I think you could end up having a really nice piece here.
No, but even with the numbers that he showed last year, like he was a spot up shooter type more so than he was at SIU.
Yeah.
And the roles were vastly different. Like he was playing some point for SIU just as necessity. Like they had some injuries and he needed to step in that role. And so maybe that allowed Mizzou to feel comfortable bringing in a guy like that to help out in some of their ball handling duties that they need to have filled whenever Jason Crow is not on the floor, or maybe even when he is. And it's like that is a guy that you can turn to that can handle.
You want
press.
people having that experience. If you've got 5 ball handlers, you've got a great situation. So I don't think that it's ever a negative to have somebody who's got a little experience having done that, just because you have to imagine that player is going to be more comfortable with the ball in his hands.
But even the 32% doesn't jump off the page, but I do think it is enough for defenses to react to it. So you are achieving the floor spacing that you need by adding a guy to this fold here. And again, not starting. I think he probably won't be starting. Maybe he does in some cases, but he was starting at BYU. I don't think you need to ask him to do that with whom Missouri currently has on the roster at this point. So if he comes off the bench and it provides that for you, I think it is exactly what Mizzou is looking for in that sense.
I agree.
The question is, he's not necessarily the straight up backup point guard. Maybe he plays that. Do you need one of those?
I think back to like the last year of Konzo, where it was like you didn't have a point guard at all. And if you have some injuries, like heaven forbid Jason Crow gets injured, what happens? Well, maybe you're just screwed. And what's the point? Like, what's the coach that was asked about why the backup to Peyton Manning doesn't ever get any first team reps? And he said, if 18 goes down, we're blanked and we don't practice blanked.
Right.
Like that's maybe that's the thought, is that like, well, look, Jason Crow is the season. So we're not going to build the roster around what happens if he goes down. Like if he goes down, it ain't the same season, fellas. So maybe you don't need a backup, and it's just like you want the ball in its hands for 40 minutes out of a 40-minute game, and that's the way it's going to be. I don't know.
What's ironic about that is that the last time Mizzou was in that exact situation with Michael Porter Jr. and he didn't play at all, Konzo was still able to make that team into an NCAA tournament team.
Correct.
With the talent that was on the roster.
And PJ wasn't quite the same profile of like an on-ball guard type of, he could handle the ball very well, and that's, he's in the NBA for a reason. But I think when you profile what Crow is supposed to be, like, you can envision that a little bit more easily. Like, he's just going to bring up the ball every time, and that's going to be the way that life works. And I don't know, like, I don't think if you get someone at this point for that role, it's probably not someone that jumps off the page and you're wanting to take a ton of minutes away from Crow anyway. Crow's going to play as much as he can handle. And you do have Aaron Rowe. And like, maybe part of the thought, Andy, is like that they want to see what he's capable of because they liked him when they recruited him. So maybe that's part of the conversation.
The answer to the question might hinge on how you feel about him. Like, do you feel that he is there's no way for us to do it. Like,
we don't have a clue. That's Dennis Gates that would know, though.
Everyone inside the program would have a better understanding as to how ready Aaron Rowe is to back up Crow and Rowe. How about that?
Does it matter that the names rhyme? I'm going to say yes.
Maybe. But that does, I think, inform a lot of what Dennis Gates probably feels about his remaining 2 roster spots. Do I just leave them open, not necessarily planning right now to go out and actively get somebody at the moment to fill a role that we need to have on this team? Or do I already have that role filled with a guy that did not play at all last year, but learned a lot, hopefully, and then is able to take on that role as a redshirt freshman, which you could still conceivably drum up for him because it shouldn't be that large of a role.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What are we talking about? 8 minutes? I don't think we're talking about somebody really taking on it. It's like Jason Crow needing a breather. And I think you get to a point where he Darius A-cuffs for you and he doesn't take breathers. Like, I think that's what this season, that's your hope for the way that he impacts your season. Then, yeah, Aaron Rowe can probably do that, we think. What's tough about it if you're the coaching staff is like you don't get to, as you make this decision, which maybe they've already made it, but as you kind of venture into that, you don't get to know what type of offseason he's had because we haven't had a summer yet. Surely with Aaron Rowe, they came out and said, like, here's what we want for you to do in the summertime to get more SEC ready by the time October gets here. But, like, we're not going to know the answer to how that played out until October gets here. So that's where it's a little bit tricky. But like I said, I think if they view it as, hey, Rowe being playable for 6 or 8 minutes a game is a bonus because then we don't have to ask everything of Jason Crow. But I think by the time you get to conference play, Jason Crow is going to be playing the whole game.
Most of it, for sure.
36, 38 minutes. And that's, again, I'm going to keep pounding the A-Cuff comparison.
Yeah.
And shoot, that guy was playing 60 minutes, some games, was it 50 minutes in the Alabama double overtime game. And you look up and down his numbers in like the conference tournament, it was 40, 40, 37, 36, 34, 37, 35. Like he's going to play 35 minutes a game. And that role that we're talking about as an ancillary, like, is there a lot of value to playing a point guard on the floor with him at the same time? Not really. Not if you have these combo guards that have handled the ball and you have these other guys that maybe that's not the profile. Maybe really it's all in on Jason Crow being the point guard and everything else happens from that.
You need good ball handling is the main thing. If it's not a point guard per se, that may be immaterial to more so of what the skill set that you're looking for. And you could argue that they achieved that with Davis.
That's why he feels
the guy
like
that
good
can,
rotational piece,
because you need multiple guys to break a press well, like when the defense starts to throw everything at you. So it can't just be Crow. And again, they will try to blitz him in those areas. So you need somebody else that is strong with the ball, smart in those situations, doesn't turn it over, doesn't get antsy with it. And Davis, I do think, fulfills that. If there was a chance for you to go out and add another veteran to add to that mix, I wouldn't hate it. Like, I would not hate them going out, and especially if that's a guy that can also shoot pretty well. Like, I do wonder if there is enough shooting still on this team.
We're going to find that out.
Like, unless you really think Chronister can really contribute to that right away.
I think they are going to jam some pegs into some holes and hope that they fit. Like Jameer Jones, you're going to hope that he fits into that more volume shooting role. Trent Pierce, I think they're going to say, the floor is yours to do that on a more regular basis. We saw it sometimes from Trent Pierce, but it was like, was he tentative? You're almost like building the roster to inspire the type of player that you want a guy like Trent Pierce, for example, to become. You want Jameer Jones to not defer to these other guys who are shooters, but then, like, if you bring in guys and they're just Jacob Cruz, you're like, well, maybe we don't really want to clog up our roster. We want to empower this player to become the best version of himself, which includes a little bit more of that 3-point shooting. And so there's a risk in that.
Yeah.
But the risk can also be mitigated by, Jameer Jones isn't really fulfilling that role. Trent Pierce isn't quite doing what we hoped he would. More for you, Jason Crow. Like, that's always going to be a way that they can fall back on if the balance isn't quite there. And I'm not saying that's super, like, stable decision-making of the way to build a roster, but it could also be very fun and interesting where you say, we think Jameer Jones has this within him. We've seen it at times from Trent Pierce. We think he has it within him. They're going to do that for us. And come what may, with the fallback being Jason Crow just shooting at a ridiculous volume, and we think he'll make a lot of the shots because he's that good. Like, that's their fallback plan, is more Jason Crow, but empowering the players that haven't shown it to become it, rather than saying we really need to get one more guy that shot 32% from 3 last year. You're thinking that the guys you have can do that. I think that's sort of the idea, but that's just my speculation on what we're seeing.
It's still a question of depth. Like, do you feel like you have enough there? Because there are some roster spots that are kind of placeholders right now, like Luke Northweather and Nick Randall and Honor Boateng, right? Like, you're wondering, like, maybe Boateng comes back and is able to find some way to contribute, but it is a huge
he's got upside in theory still, but the injury makes it tough to project. with him.
And so that's maybe why I wonder, like, injuries can always happen. And like, you even experienced them last year for the first part of the season.
You saw what that was like.
And you presumably will schedule a little bit tougher this year based on how we've seen it happen so far.
Yeah.
We'll see how much more they add. So I don't think they're done. I can see a world as to where they would think, hey, 13 guys, we know we're not going to play all of them. Let's just roll now. And if there is something can't miss that falls in our lap, let's have the flexibility on our roster to fill it. I would think that Dennis Gates fills at least one of them, though, and leaves one.
Yeah, I think you leave one of those spots for exactly what you're talking about. You'd like to think that the other one can be filled by a mid-major guard that maybe on paper it's like, I don't know, but the profile is such that you could imagine it. It just gives you another shot on goal to be able to come up with those types of guys, because a guy gets in here and gets in the weight room and gets to be part of the team culture, and then you find out what they're about. And if it doesn't work out with that particular player because you didn't maybe spend a bunch to get them, then it's like, well, you have a roster in place that can work without that player being in your rotation. That's the type of guy I would bring in. And I'm sure like the portal is filled with guys like that. So I think they'll probably add one more, but I'm not freaking out if the next guy they add is like, oh, it's another Luke Northweather, where we're like, that's just a bring a guy home to be part of the practice squad guy. I'm not going to freak out if the guard they bring in is like, oh, I don't really look at that player and their history and think I want them playing. That's going to be okay, because I think they've got kind of what they need. Depth would be a concern, though, if that's the way that it plays out, because like you said, you can't control injuries, and they used them as an excuse this past year as to why, like, Dennis Gates kind of touted, look how good I did, because here's where we were and here's where we got to.
Right.
Well, don't set your roster up for that to be a situation again, ideally.
And again, you're not looking for somebody who needs to start. Like, they just bring them in, and maybe they carve out starters' minutes themselves by competing in the way that you would want them to, because they see a roster that is mostly set, but then they take it as an opportunity of like, okay, well, they're not giving as much NIL the money to me, but I get to be at a high major program. I get to play in the SEC. Let's see what I can actually do for myself. So it is an interesting sales pitch that they can still give to a player like that. But yeah, it is still, I think, one player away from being like, let's go. This is the team that all of a sudden takes flight. Like it.
Yeah, I don't think you're getting that player, though. I think you're going to go in with like a little bit of more of a placeholder type of guy if they get another one. Like on the Kennard Davis scale, I think it'll be slightly less of a splash.
Yeah. And that's fine. Like,
I agree. I think that you can manage with that, but it would, like you said, it would be those guys fall out of the sky sometimes for certain teams, and you're like, wow, we added another one. I don't think that's coming, but that's okay. I think they're in a good spot.
So could Mizzou basketball be done with their roster build now? Do they need to add another player? They've got 2 spots open. Call or text us with what you think of the roster as it stands now, 573-875-KTGR. Here on The Big Show, after this live local sports center, we'll get to more of your calls and texts.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. Mizzou softball plays tomorrow in the SEC tournament. If the Tigers win against Auburn in the 11-14 game, Mizzou will guarantee a 500 record or better at the end of the season. That would make them eligible for the NCAA tournament. Mizzou plays with an updated start time tomorrow of 10 a.m. in Lexington, Kentucky. You'll hear coverage beginning on KTGR at 9:45 in the morning from the SEC Radio Network. Cardinals took 2 out of 3 over the weekend from the Dodgers to improve to 20-14 on the season. They continue their homestand tonight, hosting 3 games against the Brewers this week. First game tonight is at 6:45 at Busch Stadium. You can hear coverage coming up on the radio on KTGR in just a few minutes. The Royals swept the Mariners on the road this weekend to get to 15-19 on the season. Huge homestand coming up where they host the Guardians and Tigers. Royals take on the Guardians tonight at 6:40 at Kauffman Stadium. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with Steve's Pest Control, reminding you it's termite swarm season. And if you see black-bodied, long-winged insects, you may be having a swarm. Call Steve's Pest Control today or visit stevespestcontrol.com.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking cloudier skies into this evening with scattered showers and storms developing likely after sunset, continuing into the overnight hours. It'll be soggy with a chance to see a few storms with large hail up to quarter size. Tomorrow, cool with temperatures remaining in the mid-50s, rain off and on throughout the day. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
On Simmons Field.
Swinging a ground ball, hit past third and the left. That's a base hit.
And across the SEC.
Fastball, swing and a miss. He struck him out.
The Tigers are ready to roar.
There it goes. Long drive, deep right field. That is gone.
This is your radio home for Mizzou baseball.
The Tigers win this one in a walk-off here in the bottom of the ninth inning.
Mid-Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
It's one day only, and it's all about soon-to-be mommies and babies. The Midmo Baby Expo, presented by Boone Health, is an exciting event that will showcase all things baby, all bundled up at the Courtyard by Marriott. Saturday, June 6th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. From diapers and daycares for baby to essential oils and massages for mom. If your business markets to moms or to babies, we want you. Limited booth space available. For more info, visit MidmoBabyExpo.com. It's the Midmo Baby Expo, Saturday, June 6th.
Got to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Sweetie, the backyard's that way.
Oh, yeah. Just figured I'd use the toilet.
It's not normal for your man to pee indoors. He could be suffering from low D, low deck. A low deck just isn't as fun to pee off.
Maybe I'll try sitting down.
Or no D, no deck at all. But there's help. With Crutch's Custom Exteriors, a sky-high pee platform is all he needs to be and pee like a man again. Crutch's Custom Exteriors, true beauty is on the outside.
Hi, I'm Sarah Sticklin McDonald.
And I'm Charlie Sticklin with the Sticklin and Sticklin Law Firm.
And I'm Mizzou Softball's Natalie Touche. At Sticklin and Sticklin, all we do is personal injury.
We've earned millions for our clients since 1991.
On the diamond, I trust my team. Off the diamond, I trust Sticklin and Sticklin. Don't let the insurance companies strike you out. Let Sticklin and Sticklin go to bat for you. Sticklin and Sticklin, it's a home run.
1851 Underground Tap and Grill in Fulton loves celebrating a change of season. Spring means new flavors in the specialty cocktail menu, as well as seasonal beers. At 1851 Underground, spring also means the Cards and Royals on TV, with the new hope of a new season. Plus plenty of space with pool tables and a beautiful wraparound bar. Find them on Facebook for daily specials, too. It's not a secret, but it is underground. 1851 Underground Tap and Grill in the historic Brick District, downtown Fulton.
The 10th pick in tonight's Little League draft is Jackson Miller. Nice pickup. Big arm, big swing, runs like his big brother is going to kill him. Next is Owen Bradley, big glue guy in the dugout, still eating glue in art class. Ben Thompson, he's still on the board. Great attitude, strong lungs. Most teams have him pegged for debate or possibly pep band. Not every kid is a first-round pick, but at Play It Again Sports, every kid can play like one. Think of them first so you don't finish last. Play It Again Sports, ColumbiaMo.com.
Your daily fix of local sports lives here. This is The Big Show on KTGR.
Well, tell us what you think about Mizzou basketball to this point. They should be better next year. We know that. That'll definitely be the goal. Won't just be making the NCAA tournament, especially now that it will be 76 teams. But you didn't get a chance to weigh in much on that last week either.
We've known for a while, right, that this was coming. I think next time we see it and we see which teams get in as the additional teams, that's going to make it more interesting. But I had said last year, Andy, that I was like heading into 26. If this is what they had done, I was going to live with it this past March Madness. They didn't end up doing it then. You have no excuse if you're a Missouri team to not make the tournament when they're adding teams like this, because it's all at-large additions. I'll find it very interesting. Now all the 16 seed matchups will be ins, right? And then there'll even be some on the 15 side if my math is correct. Right. So that will make some of those 2-15 matchups interesting, because you'll have teams that had previously not been that far down the seed line that now are maybe a little bit more robust, having earned their way to face it too. You might see some more of those 215s, honestly, as a result. But I'll be very curious to see who gets in. Is it more mid-majors, or is it what we suspect, more of the at-large that comes from like this year's Auburn team would have been in, and nobody really wanted that. So it'll be what it'll be. Just don't change the structure, and I'm largely going to be fine with it because I want to wait till Thursday for the bracket to really start. That's really all I care about.
Well, again, I think you won't see much of a change as to the type of teams that were let in when they expanded per se from like 64 to 65 and then 68. Like there were a few more, I mean, similar percentage, I would think, of mid-major versus high major teams that are getting in those senses. And like, yeah, that's going to mean 5 to 6 at least high major teams getting in that you think don't deserve to be in. Okay.
Yeah, but you might get 2 more mid-majors that also get their shot at it. And like, those will be the teams that we're rooting for. So, look, there'll be more basketball on those 2 days ahead of the Thursday too. So it's not the worst thing in the world, but like, I do think it changes my perspective of, we can't look at it where we're like, oh my gosh, our coach makes the tournament every year. Yeah, there's more opportunities for that. And so let's understand that threshold's a little bit different than it once was.
Yeah, I think that part is fascinating because that is, it is interesting how programs will decide to add more pressure to a certain coach's situation. Like I think of what NC State will do this year. NC State had their coach leave them. Will Wade went to LSU. And so they went and got somebody else, not really thinking that they needed to go and get somebody else. So it's an odd situation with them. But then, okay, 76 team field, how much does that coach who came from a mid-major, or actually no, they hired the assistant from Tennessee, I believe. So first-time head coach. How much leash does that coach get at a program like NC State, which isn't awful? Like they're a good program. They should consistently make
a Final Four pretty recently.
Yeah, like with Kevin Keats, you know,
that's something. Yeah,
that was a coach that was going to be fired that season, and then he made the Final Four, and like, well, we can't do it now. So like that I think is a fascinating angle to it of like how much do first year head coaches get leeway in this situation anymore when they get their first time major job?
Yeah. Be interesting. But I just think back to Dennis Gates talking about how like this matters for coaches to get in, like that's very meaningful to coaches. And so, you know, having more access because there are 360 teams or whatever it is, that like the percentages aren't really quite relative to the other sports. And so because it matters to coaches and and whether they're hired or fired or get a raise, whatever, like totally fair. But we can't then just treat it the exact same as we used to. We have to kind of water that down a little bit when it comes to, yeah, great to make it, but it's also doesn't quite mean what it once meant. Like you can't necessarily have it both ways.
So that'll be interesting as Mizzou tries to add to their roster, maybe over the rest of this off season. Okay, so we talked about it a little bit earlier, but Patrick Mahomes looks like he's going to be on track to participate in OTAs, which will be end of May, just about. And that'll be mostly no contact stuff. So we're not going to know for sure how much he deals with that aspect of it. But it is obviously a hugely good sign. He released the video of him throwing like a couple of weeks ago. So like, you know, that he's in that phase of his recovery where he's probably, if OTAs started tomorrow, he would probably be in them and participating in some fashion. You would only expect that he'd be limited there. So like, I think, look, it's not hard, Brenden, as you say, to say like, look, he's going to be ready. He's going to be ready week 1. This will still be, up until he actually takes the first snap, the most scrutinized situation involving an injury in the NFL, and it's going to cast some sort of doubt in some way, shape, or form. Even if he's totally ready, I don't know if the Chiefs will make him do a whole bunch of stuff in the lead up because they will be extra careful with him, and it will still be heavily scrutinized because of that, because we might know how much he actually is able to do in those training camp sessions, everything like that, or how much the Chiefs will let him do, which will add to the uncertainty.
Yeah, like we're not necessarily going to get that full confirmation, but I like even being participatory at all, in OTAs would just tell me that the schedule and the calendar is going to line up in a favorable way for him. I don't have really any doubt that he will be ready. We'll talk about it as we get updated information and go, oh, I don't know. He's only doing this, that, or the other, but and maybe Will Carroll, shed some light tomorrow. Maybe he'll disagree with me. I would just be, at this point, my stance is just as it really was when it started. I'd be shocked if he's not playing week 1.
It would be, I would also be a little bit surprised. And look, if Justin, how about this? You want to say, okay, so he starts week 1, over under 16.5 games he plays in the regular season.
Yeah, I would bet on him to play in every game.
Okay.
Just because I don't really think that he is the type of guy that's like injury prone, and we know he tries to gut it out if he can possibly stay in a game with like an ankle sprain or whatever. So I don't think Mahomes is going to miss any time.
He's going to want to be in. He has had to miss a game or two before in his career.
Not often though. And like a torn ACL that's going to get you,
Yeah,
like short of that. I don't think he's
that,
ankle sprain. Yeah, he's going to play.
If he doesn't play week 18 because they've locked something up, then that's
fair.
That's the only part.
Fair. 15.5.
15.5. Over.
I'll take the over.
I will take the over on that. Thanks for joining us today. We will talk about that with the injury expert, Will Carroll, tomorrow. Enjoy Cardinals baseball. Turn your radio on right now to hear that. We'll see you at 4 o'clock tomorrow. He's Brenden. I'm Andy. We're done for now.
When storms hit, the damage can be devastating. But really,